The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
Welcome to the show. I'm David Pakman. You know, Lewis, our audience is brilliant, essentially. And so between us, they know and we know that Fox News is not fair and balanced, right? I mean, I know that that's what we hear, but our audience is bright enough to know that that's not the case.
Right.
Well, Fox News insists that their news is fair and balanced, regardless of the commentary shows.
And they say it. They say it all the time.
They say it regularly, but even in discussions when executives have actually been asked, they say, no, listen, we're not going to deny that the commentary shows are conservative. That's true. But when we talk about hard news, it is completely unbiased. It is hard news right down the middle. And even other mainstream media, for the most part, are reluctant to call Fox what it is. Now, I know that while most of our audience gets it, and if you look on YouTube, you'll see that not everybody does. So I have to keep repeating this so that people don't forget. Eventually, people will get it into their heads that this is not mainstream news. It is not fair news. It is not reasonable news in any way. I don't know how many times I'll have to say it. Probably many more, right?
I hope not.
Well, now we actually have a leaked email. This is extraordinary. This is just, you're going to love this, Lewis. We have a leaked email from Bill Salmon. He's the Washington managing editor of news, not of commentary for Fox News, of news, hard news. The unbiased stuff, right?
Facts.
The facts. And this relates to a lot of what we've been talking about recently on this show. There is a Republican pollster. Let me set the stage for you, Lewis. Bear with me here. This is just brilliant. Republican pollster Frank Luntz. You know who I'm talking about. This is the words matter guy. He knows how to phrase things optimally for Republicans. He was on Sean Hannity's show on August 18th. Okay?
Okay.
Luntz goes on. He scolds Hannity. This is in the middle of the healthcare debate. He scolds Hannity for referring to the public option. And he says, you know what, Sean? You should call it the government option instead. If you call it a public option, the American people are actually split. Not even true. If you actually call it a public option, the American people are in favor. Frank Luntz knew that. Let's just skip past the obvious lie there. But if you call it the government option, says Frank Luntz, the public is overwhelmingly against it. And he explained, Luntz did, that the program would be sponsored by the government, and he also said it would be paid for by the government. Wasn't true. And Hannity says, you know what? That's a great point, Frank. From now on, I'm going to call it the government option. Sean Hannity was against the public option. Fine. Commentary show. So far, so good, right? Mm-hmm. Hannity's eating this right up, though. It's like Frank Luntz is spoon-feeding this stuff to him, and Hannity is just, he can't get enough. And it actually carries over to Bill Salmon. Bill Salmon gets a hold of this, and shortly after that, we hear that, wait a second, Fox News is not going to use that terminology anymore. October 26, 2009, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid announced the inclusion of a public insurance option that states could opt out of in the Senate health care bill. That night, Special Report, this is the program, it used to be Britt Hume, now it's Brett Baer, used public and government interchangeably. Okay, and I actually have some video of this, just so you know I'm not making it up. Not that anybody would ever think Lewis or I would make anything up on this show, right? I mean, nobody would think that.
I hope not.
But just in case, I actually have some of the video for you, and I'll play it for you here. Take a look at some of the terminology that's being used. It'll just be a second, but I know that we have it. I'm confident. I've been told time and time again that any second we're going to have this video and audio for you. Right, Lewis?
Problem. I do want to turn the topic to healthcare reform and what the House Speaker said today. Mara, she said in this press conference that she may be okay with the public option not being in the bill, the Senate bill, and going along with whatever the trigger is. She says the trigger will bring on a very robust public option, though. She's essentially backing away from...
I think she just read the stage directions a little too early.
Okay.
I think what she said...
And as you can see on screen, it actually says government option. So at this point, the terms are being used completely interchangeably. Right, Lewis?
Fair.
So-called public option, government-provided insurance. There's a number of terms being used here. The next morning, okay, October 27th, Bill Salmon sends an email to the staff of Special Report, Fox News Sunday, foxnews.com, reporters, producers. He's sending this thing everywhere. And the subject is friendly reminder. Let's not slip back into calling it the public option. And he specifically says what here? He says, we should call this government-run health insurance, or, when brevity is a concern, government option whenever possible. Number 2, when it is necessary to use the term public option, use the qualifier so-called. So in other words, the so-called public option. Kind of the same way you would say the so-called news that we get on Fox News. Same type of thing. That's what he wants used, right?
Sure.
Here's another way to phrase it. The public option, which is the government-run plan. Also, if guests say public option, we can't really do much about that because quotes are quote. But if they could, they'd do something about those damn quotes too. So this is an email, Lewis. Salmon's email had an impact. Next day on Special Report, unlike the previous broadcast, no references to the public option without using versions of, these pre-approved talking points here. The so-called public option, the public option, which is government run, so on and so forth. So this is evidence, Lewis, not that most of us needed any confirmation, right? But just for those...
Confirmation of an agenda.
Confirmation that Fox News is literally getting bright ideas from GOP talking point experts. Frank Luntz is great at what he does, right?
Right.
And it's no surprise Republicans want to use those talking points. But if you were trying to deliver fair and balanced news, why would you use talking points developed by Republicans, developed even by people like Wendell Potter, who was on the show, of course, the Cigna whistleblower? They're taking advice based on what a Republican pollster said is language that makes people be against the public option. And they're making it a rule, not on commentary shows, Lewis, but on hard news on Fox. What else do we need? It's pathetic.
There it is.
Now, this is exactly where many people, many defenders of Fox News will say the same things Fox says when you call them out on bias. They say, well, listen, on the Bill O'Reilly show, we have 12 liberal guests a week and 12 conservative guests a week. During the 12 o'clock news hour, to go to hard news, we have just as many Democratic congressmen as we do Republican congressmen. And that's not a lie. What they won't mention is this pervasive, active, proactive decision to use language that has been handcrafted by GOP pollsters as more effective in turning people against whatever it is. In this case, it's the public option, and towards the narrative that Republicans, and lo and behold, big coincidence, also Fox News wants to put out there. Now, Bill Salmon claimed not to know it was a GOP talking point. By the way, he's been introduced, if you say he's just a news guy, he's been introduced by Bill O'Reilly, by Chris Wallace's conservative. He doesn't dispute it. Here's some of the names of the books he's written. At Any Cost, How Al Gore Tried to Steal the Election. Fighting Back, The War on Terrorism from Inside the Bush White House. Misunderestimated, President Battles Terrorism, Media Bias, and Bush Haters. These are the books he's written, right? And this, it turns out that in this case, Lewis, not only was speculation right, that Fox News was just kind of casually against the public option, they were taking GOP talking points developed by Frank Luntz and passing them around to reporters. I'm trying to make this as clear as possible, and saying this is the rule for how we report on healthcare. We report on healthcare the same way that GOP pollsters and talking point developers have said helps Republicans.
Right.
That's the policy.
But anyone with a good head on their shoulders who watches Fox News could come to this conclusion. But
I'm not going to say
we just have an email that gives us proof.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But of course we can
email.
deny it. People will deny this. I can see the comments now. No, you guys are wrong. That's not what it is. It's just that it is a government-run option. So that's the way that Fox decided to do it. They said this was the most accurate way. That's what it is.
Perhaps whoever leaked this email will be arrested for rape or molestation.
That's right.
Or something
You know what?
like that, you know?
Julian Assange, there's calls for Julian Assange to be taken dead or alive, preferably dead, according to some. Whoever leaked this email, Lewis, these are secrets. We can't be revealing that Fox News is using GOP talking points as a point of fact for hard news.
Shouldn't have pissed off Rupert Murdoch.
It's treason, Lewis. It is treason, and we need whoever leaked this email dead or alive.
Whoever leaked this email is anti-American.
That's right. They hate this country.
They do. They're terrorists.
They're also against apparently government-run healthcare, which is, it's like government-run healthcare is like somebody who's pro-abortion. They want as many abortions as possible.
Right.
We laugh about it, but it's If anybody knows how to use language effectively, it's Republicans.
The language exists.
Fox News is saying, what the hell? Republicans are controlling language. Let's just use the exact same language on our airwaves. No reason to use unbiased language. Let's use the great biased language that that the Republicans have developed.
Sure.
The David Pakman Show is made possible by listeners like you and by Greenfield Savings Bank, building strong communities one account at a time, with offices in Greenfield, Amherst, Conway, Shelburne Falls, South Deerfield, and Turners Falls, and online at greenfieldsavings.com. By the Daily Hampshire Gazette and GazetteNet.com, connecting our communities with local news and information. By DIF Design, specializing in custom business websites at DIFdesign.com. Find out more about underwriting The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.